Hello and welcome back to potentially the last episode of Katawa Shoujo. Hello. Last time we met Emmy's dad and we did the pee pee touch. And that's pretty much all that happened. The morning light seems to reach further into Emmy's room than it does into mine. This results in my waking up earlier than I would if I had gone back to my room last night, as had previously been our routine. I did not realize it until this morning, but this is the first time we've actually spent the night together. Wow. Small movement from my partner's still slumbering form causes me to look to the side. Hair splayed across her face, Emmy continues to sleep peacefully curled up next to me. Slightly weird seeing her without her trademark twin tails, but it's also a look I could get used to. The small size of the beds here necessitates her curling up, but I'm pretty sure she would have done so anyway. Covers are nearly over her head, and I smile as an errant strand of her hair causes her nose to twitch slightly. Unable to help myself, I draw her a little closer, a move which she seems to think is a good idea. Her steady breath raises a trail of goosebumps on my chest, but I don't mind. I am no longer tired, but I do not feel a need to move from my current position. Emmy's warm body in repose against mine is far too comfortable to move. Y'all need to go on your run! I gaze up at the ceiling and consider how it is that we got to this point. We've been close for a while, but not this close. It seems like only yesterday that she ran into me in the hallway, and after apologizing decided to take an interest in my well-being after she almost killed me. But that grew into something else, which I at least was not expecting. For one thing is for certain. Having found Emmy, I will try as hard as I can not to lose her. My morning musing is interrupted by further movement from Emmy. Her eyes flutter open, and she seems briefly confused by my presence in her bed as well as her current state of dress, which is not existent. Hello? I don't know if I can put this. Nothing's showing, but it's a little sussy. Then she smiles happily and sits up, her face looking down at me.
Good morning, Hisao.
Hi, sleep well?
Yeah, I did. Exhausting day yesterday, you know?
I think back over yesterday's trip to the graveyard. Yeah, glad to hear you slept well.
How'd you sleep?
Well enough, although you kept hogging the covers. Concerns me a shove and a stuck-out tongue. I chuckle and Emmy giggles a little, and we fall quiet for a while. I soak up the feeling of how right it all seems, waking up with Emmy by me, crammed into a bed made for one person. It's something I could get used to.
Hey, Hisao?
Hmm?
Thanks for sticking around.
No problem. Saved me the walk back anyway, huh? This draws another giggle, but then Emmy's expression turns serious again.
No, really. I kept trying to push you away because I thought that was the right thing to do, and you stuck around through it all. I haven't made any of this easy for you, but you stuck it out anyway. So really, I mean it. Thank you.
She punctuates this by giving me a kiss, pulling back and looking at me with an expression of affection. I reach up and ruffle her hair, smiling all the while. I'm stupidly lucky, I think, to have come through everything after my heart attack, and to somehow have found this girl is nothing short of a miracle. You are very welcome, Emmy. You are truly blessed to have me around. In fact, I think I should be praised, and I think I even deserve a reward of sorts. I couldn't bear the thought of giving you up. I'll even continue to stick around if you want.
I'd like that.
That settles it then. I don't know how long my heart will keep working, and I don't even really know what I'll do after this year is over, apart from going to university. As long as Emmy's around, I think I'll be okay. I've managed to help her, and she's managed to help me. If we keep doing that, we'll be okay, I think.
So, Hisao?
Hmm?
What do you want to do today?
You got him? That it? Okay. I did it. I got the good ending. I chose the the choice that I would have never chosen in 1,000 years if this was real life. Oh dang, look. They went all in on those on drawing those prosthetics. I wish that the concept art wasn't so tiny. I want to see it biggerly. I guess I'll have to go and see the other endings. What was that? Was the beta design? I don't know if you can you still play the beta? I've heard that the beta is like really different. I could be wrong. Hmm. I think that of all of the routes, I think that the Emmy route is probably best for Hisao. I think Hisao benefits and I think it makes way the most sense for Hisao to end up with Emmy. The rest of the routes, I don't think so. I don't think any of the other girls would actually end up with Hisao, and the Emmy route is the one that seems most natural. I guess Rin never really ends up with Hisao. They just are like, everything's gonna be okay. But let's see. We still have the bad end. This one? Oh, I never saved. Okay. The last time I said this, and then this time I'm gonna say this. There's an awkward silence at the table for a while after Amy dashes off. I can't think of anything to say. Emmy's mother sighs, breaking the silence. Sorry about that, Hisao. I sometimes forget that Emmy's touchy about certain subjects. And I was talking about the wheelchair thing, too. Should I go after her? Heavens, no. She didn't leave the table to continue the conversation, you know. But if she's troubled, shouldn't someone help her? If there were anyone else, I'd say yes, but my daughter is as stubborn as a mule. And if she wants to be alone, it's best to let her be alone. Otherwise, she'll probably say something she'd regret, which would cause you to say something you'd regret. And I would prefer that dinner doesn't end with one or both of you storming out of the house. Well, I have some bad news for you. In the other route, that's exactly what happened. If that were to happen, I'd be a terrible hostess, wouldn't I? I've already acted as a fool once today. That's okay. I shouldn't have brought up the wheelchair, apparently. Mrs. Ibarazaki frowns, clearly more bothered by Emmy's omission than she let on. I wish she wouldn't do that. It just makes me worry more, you know. She does this often? What, running off to the bathroom? No, I can't say she does. Keep injuries from her mother, though? Well, that's a little more common. Every time I catch her lying like that, she assures me that the only reason she didn't tell me is because it wasn't a big deal. If it's any consolation, I'm sure the only reason I knew about it was because I saw her every day. This elicits a dry chuckle from across the table. Mrs. Ibarazaki sighs a little sadly. Still hesitant about getting close to people, huh? I keep hoping that she'll get over that. It's funny, really. She's bounced back so well from the accident in so many ways. I guess some things never really go away. From the looks of it, the whole thing still bothers her too. She seems to be a little more willing to talk about the accident without Emmy around, though. Hey, I've got a question if it's alright. Oh? What else did Emmy lose in that accident? The nurse said that she gets this way near the anniversary and she won't talk about it to me. So you thought I'd fill you in, hmm? Yeah, hopefully. Well, there's a problem with that request, you know. Let me guess, you promised Emmy that you wouldn't tell anyone she didn't want to know, and you don't know if she wants me to know? Something like that. I promised Emmy that she'd be the one to tell people the full story. But isn't that important? I mean, it clearly had a huge effect on her if she's still like this so long after the accident happened.
That's true. It did have a long lasting effect on her. There are a few things that she'll probably never really get over.
For a moment, Mrs. Ibarazaki looks incredibly saddened, as if an old wound is bothering her.
I suppose there are a few things I'll never really get over either.
Another dry chuckle, and with a shake of her head, Emmy's mother banishes the memory.
Look, there's something you absolutely must understand about the way Emmy thinks about the accident.
What's that?
It wasn't a big deal.
Yep, I just can't imagine how someone violently losing their father would be a big deal. Somehow I managed to keep my mouth from falling open in surprise, but it takes some effort. That has to be the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard. I don't know. I've read some of your sex scenes and I've heard some pretty ridiculous stuff. I beg your pardon?
Okay, maybe it's not that simple, but it's a pretty accurate summation. Emmy believes that the accident did not define her, and that everything she lost that day didn't define her either. She's not that girl who lost her legs. She is the fastest thing on no legs. Her optimism and energy came out of that wreck without a scratch, as far as she's concerned.
Yet it goes beyond that, doesn't it? I mean, last night she told me she refused to rely on me because it would make losing me too painful.
Not really. You said she won't tell you about the accident even though you've asked her about it before. The reason she won't talk about it even if when you ask is because to her it's not something you absolutely need to know. Even if she wasn't terrified of getting too close to anyone, she still wouldn't talk about it.
She's afraid of being close to me?
Oh goodness me, yes. For all that talk about being unscathed by the accident, she's gained the ugly knowledge of how quickly it can all be over.
You're really talking about this with a big old smile on your face like it's not, very concerning.
So she's not going to let people get especially close to her, and she certainly would resent any implication that she cannot work through this on her own.
But I don't think she can.
Oh no? Are you sure you've been dating my daughter and not somebody else? Trust me, Hisao, she could get through it on her own.
But she has nightmares and can't sleep well, and
she does this every year. Tell me, if she wasn't able to get through it on her own, do you think she'd really still be alive? She would have killed herself or something equally melodramatic.
Jesus Christ! I mean, that's a low-ass bar. I see why she has problems now, good lord. You're just like, you can deal with this on your own. Maybe you shouldn't have had kids, ma'am. So what, I shouldn't try to help her?
I didn't say that. I hate seeing my daughter like this, and knowing that she could rely on someone else would let me relax. You just need to understand that accepting help goes against everything Emmy thinks about herself and the way the world works. If you still want to offer her help, then I guess that's your call. Honestly, I'd like you to, but it'd be silly not to warn you that it's not going to be easy. You just need to be patient with her. She's already closer to you than anyone else she's ever met at Yamaku.
Well, it sure doesn't feel like we're very close. Well,
good. That makes this part easier.
Emmy's voice nearly gives me a heart attack. Oh, didn't hear you come back, Emmy.
How convenient.
Wait, were you eavesdropping?
Nope, just happened to come back at the right moment, I guess. Emmy, Hisao was just...
Emmy holds up a finger, cutting her mother off.
On his way out of the house? Yeah, I know.
Emmy's trembling with anger now, looking vaguely betrayed.
Emmy, don't be ridiculous. We were just...
You promised! The pain carried in that last word is almost too much for me to bear. The idea that I could hurt her that much is like being kicked in the gut. What even happened? I don't understand why she's mad. Emmy's mother looks similarly pained by the thought.
And I kept that promise. Just listen, there's no reason to go throwing people out of the house.
Emmy's mother seems to be both angry at her daughter's outburst and embarrassed that I'm a witness to it. There's only one real solution to this problem, I think. It's okay, I'll go.
Now, really, that seems a little unnecessary.
Don't worry about it. Thank you for dinner, Mrs. Ibaraki, and for the advice.
It was my pleasure, Hisao. I'm sorry we didn't get to the dessert.
That's okay. I have to watch what I eat anyway. Good evening, Emmy, Mrs. Ibaraki. The formality of our conversation, coupled with the fact that I'm getting ready to leave, seems to snap Emmy out of her anger.
No, wait. I'm sorry. I've been so. And after last night, I just thought, you don't have to go. I take it back. It's okay.
I can't help but smile slightly. She can barely articulate her apology, and I really would like to stay, but I don't think I can right now. I need to think about what her mother said, and about what I'm going to do about us. I don't want to risk accidentally getting Emmy angry again, and in her current state either. No, I think I'd better leave. You seem pretty shook up, and well, I'd only wind up trying to help you again. I know you'd prefer I didn't, so I'm going to leave instead.
But.
Hey, it's not a problem. You don't want a night on a white charger, right? Just promise me one thing, okay?
What?
Don't be angry at your mom, okay? She was just giving me some advice, that's all. Amy nods hesitantly, like this simple idea is all that she can grab onto at this point. She's so terribly off balance that I can't do anything about that right now.
Okay.
See you tomorrow, okay? Running in the morning, don't forget. I can see that I've hurt Emmy by deciding to leave, but there's nothing I can do for her as things stand, and I know that she's too stubborn to admit that she wants me to. She's too stubborn to admit that she wants me to stick around. I watch various emotions cross Emmy's face as she tries to process everything that's just happened. Shortly comes that calm look again like last night, and that voice that tries so hard to sound careless.
Sure, Hisao. See you around.
Both of us are unwilling to concede emotion at this point, and I'm having a hard time keeping up my facade, so I turn on my heel and walk out the door. I shut it behind me slowly, pausing for a moment as the latch catches my hand on the doorknob. Did I make the right decision just now? Should I have stayed and tried to work things out? No, I decide not in front of her mother like that. In spite of everything, I'd rather keep Emmy's mother insulated from the sight of anger that surfaced last night. Even though she's probably used to it, some protective instinct wants me to keep Emmy's image as a cheerful girl intact. With a start, I realize my hand is still resting on the knob. I take my hand away, put it in my pocket, and head down the slowly darkening street. I let out a long breath. The wait until tomorrow morning comes isn't going to be easy. In any case, I have to think on what to say to Emmy. I must apologize, and I must get through to her somehow. On that account, something has been on my mind for most of the way back to my room. The letter of apology from Iwanako. I was so concerned about my new life when I received it that I didn't even bother to really read it. I really was thinking about that. I was like, did he have a scene with Iwanako? In most of the other ones, he was pretty shook up by it. I think in this one, he just threw it in the garbage. Now that I find myself in a similar position, my curiosity got rekindled. What should she want me to know so badly? If nothing else, reading her thoughts might help me frame... might help me frame mine. I remember tossing it away. Damn, where did I throw that thing? I check under my desk. That turns up nothing, so I look for harder to reach, more unlikely locations. Well, now I know where that lost sock went at least. Still no letter though. It's when I try sweeping my arm under the nightstand that I feel something crinkly jammed between it and the wall. Grunting a little with the effort, I reached for my prize and soon managed to bring it into the light. Bingo. I sit at my desk and spread the crumpled paper open. A flick turns on the table light. Skipping past the empty pleasantries, I looked for the point where I stopped reading. Ah, here it is. There are other things I want to say. I'm writing to you because I felt that there are things I should have said after the incident back in winter. I really regret that I wasn't able to say them in person, and I have no excuse for it. The truth is, the times when I visited you at the hospital made me worried about you. I'm not talking about your health. You seem to become more distant and disheartened. It was natural after something like that happened, I'm sure. But somehow I've got the feeling that you had given up on something back then. Happiness, maybe? Giving up on happiness. Sounds unpleasantly familiar. I wanted to somehow express my feelings, but the right words didn't come to me. I couldn't say anything to comfort you. I'm really sorry for not being able to support you when it mattered the most. Even though I like you so much, at least now, finally, I can be more honest. If I could. Why do I keep doing that? If I could go back to those quiet days in February and March, I'd tell you not to give up on yourself. That's what I would say. Maybe you wouldn't have drifted so far away if I had just said something. I hope you've managed to get back on your own feet, on your own. Now that the distance between us is also physical, it also feels more final somehow. I wonder if we will meet again. Perhaps it's for best if we don't. Still, if you would like to correspond with me, by all means write me back. I'd very much like to hear about your new school and how you're doing. I wish you all the best. Iwanako. After finishing reading the letter for the last time, I smooth it over carefully and set it aside on my desk. Thank you, Iwanako. I wanted to answer yes to your question on that snowy winter day, but I never got to. By the time we met again, it was too late. Or so I thought. What would have happened if I had behaved differently back in that dismally sterile hospital room? Sorry, there's no point in wondering now, but there's no point in trying to forget either. I am who I am because of all that happened to me, and I look forward to experience. Present, future, and past. And the past may have just taught me an important lesson now. Oh, I didn't fuck up. Wait a second. Hold on a second. The sound of my alarm is an unwelcome intrusion on a sleep that's been a battle to obtain. I doubt I've been truly asleep for more than an hour or two. Too much on my mind. Did I make the right choice leaving the house yesterday? Did I manage to get Emmy to realize how unreasonable she's been? Am I ever going to manage to get her to stop being unreasonable? Emmy's mom gave me a new perspective the other day, but I'm still not sure that it's the right perspective. She was hurt when I left yesterday, too. I know that part of any conversation is going to have to include an apology about that. Right thing to do or not, I hurt her. I hurry down to the track, eager to talk to Emmy. I think I know what to say. Apology for leaving first, and go ahead from there. Unless, of course, Emmy doesn't show up. Which, from the looks of things, seems like it's the case. It's been about 15 minutes since I got here, and there's no sign of her. She's never late, not unless she's sick, which is unlikely. She probably just doesn't want to see me right now. To take my mind off what that implies, I begin my warm-up routine and take off around the track. Clears my mind wonderfully for the half hour I'm running. I don't think about anything but the run. However, once I've finished and Emmy still hasn't shown up, I get a little worried. With any luck, the nurse will know where she is. Nothing else, I can see what he thinks I should do next. So last night didn't go too well, I take it? Huh? You already know? I have my ways, and it's not as if I'd missed the distinct absence of your running partner this morning, would I? No, I suppose not. So, what happened? Don't you know already? Maybe, but I could be bluffing. Perhaps I'd prefer to get your side of the story before I give any advice. I quickly fill the nurse in on the events of last night, and he takes it all in without changing expression once. Nothing about the whole event seems to surprise him, although he does seem surprised that I say that I didn't follow Emmy. Choose to talk to her mother instead, huh? Smart move, though I guess it didn't work out too well for you in the end. Well, I'm not sure. Emmy seemed apologetic when I left, or at least she seemed that way until she put up her defenses again. The nurse sighs and spreads his hand in conciliatory gesture. Frankly, I'm surprised she let them down at all. Emmy's had a lot of practice on that score. You probably won't get anything out of her. I don't believe you. Is that so? You think she'll tell you the whole tale? I mean, she did in the last route. That's where I just saw the nurse's eyes glitter a little. His expression is the same, but he leans forward ever so slightly. I think she'll open up if I ask her without being an idiot about it, yeah. The nurse gives his enigmatic smile in response and shrugs widely. I think he's enjoying his role a little too much. That's the real trick, isn't it? Are you sure you know the right way to approach the subject? I can guarantee that Emmy's going to try her hardest to pretend last night didn't happen. It will be painfully awkward for the both of you, but it'll also be a lot safer than trying to ask her for the whole story again. Could go worse this time. Are you ready for something like that? Sounds like a challenge, like he doesn't believe for a minute that I'd be so bold. I actually feel a little insulted by his lack of confidence in me. Of course I'm ready for that. I love her! My outburst gets a raised eyebrow in response. Oh, well then. TMI. Good luck. Let me know how it all turns out. Although he delivers his parting shot with the same smirk as usual, I actually think that the nurse wants me to succeed. I resist the urge to charge directly to Emmy's room to prove the nurse wrong. I've gone in half-cocked before, and the results were less than stellar. If I'm going to do this, I need to figure out exactly what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it. Something to think about in class. Sure enough, by the time lunch rolls around, I think I've got a good idea of what to say. I can do this. The bell rings and I grab my lunch and dash up the stairs, eager to be the first. I'll need to ask Rin to leave, and I'll need to...
Hi, Hisao. Sorry I wasn't able to run with you this morning. I overslept.
Somehow both Emmy and Rin have managed to get to the roof before me. Oh, that's no problem. Last night was kind of draining, I guess. Emmy's expression doesn't alter in the slightest.
Yeah, sorry about that. But I've such a weird morning since then.
Oh, really? Emmy proceeds to make small talk for the rest of the time. I can barely get a word in edgewise, and soon find myself interjecting with a sort of back and forth dialogue that seems to have defined our early relationship. I'm not going to get anywhere on this problem during lunch, obviously. I can respect that. Emmy obviously doesn't want to accidentally pull Rin into things, and that's fine. Not that I think Rin would notice, but I can at least respect that sort of rationale. I try a different tactic. Hey, Emmy, what are you up to after class today? I was thinking we could go somewhere for dinner or something. Emmy looks generally remorseful.
Sorry, Hisao. I promised the track captain that I'd stick around after practice and help some of the other kids with their form. It'll have to be some other time.
Yeah, sure. I'm honestly not sure what to do now. Maybe diving into things the day after would be a bad idea anyway. She might still be angry about it and just not showing it. Besides, if she's got track team responsibilities, that's fine, right? I tell myself some variation on this theme the next day. Then the next, I wake up, run with Emmy, during which she refuses to talk about anything but the run and what she was doing the night before. And then lunch where we sit and make small talk until the bell rings. Her new responsibilities effectively keep me from seeing her outside of school. Maybe, just maybe, I'm letting it happen because it's safer this way. Just like the nurse said. Except, while it may be safer, I'm feeling more and more wretched. Emmy doesn't look good when I see her anymore. Dark circles lurk under her eyes. She seems more and more distracted, and I can't bring myself to just ask her what's wrong because the timing never seems right. I'm absolutely miserable. This is becoming a lot more different than I had anticipated. Another lunch comes. I trudge up the stairs to the rooftop like a condemned man. Rin is up there, but Emmy is not. Immediately I worry that something's happened to her. Maybe the lack of sleep finally made her collapse or something worse. She seemed pretty tired after her morning run. Maybe she fell asleep and didn't even make it to class. Hey, Rin, where's Emmy? In response, I get a rather penetrating look from Rin, and something approaching a frown appears on her face. Is that information really important? I think so. She's usually here with you, isn't she? I don't know. I have no way of being sure. I can confirm that she is, in fact, usually here with you when I come up. Well, she isn't now. Does that worry you? Kind of. That seems to end the conversation, and the point becomes moot anyway because Emmy bounds through the door with her usual energy. Isao is kind of worried about you, Emmy. I don't think he can decide, or maybe I just don't believe him, but I think I'm going to go somewhere less awkward now. Oof. I'm so surprised by Rin's being so suddenly forward about, well, anything at all that I merely watch her head through the door. Emmy is similarly surprised and colors slightly crimson as she starts She stares open-mouthed at me. It occurs to me that I should probably say something, if only to break the awkward silence that has happened, that that has suddenly descended. It's because you weren't here yet. I was worried about it.
Why?
You're usually here, so I was worried that something had happened to you.
This isn't the first time that I've been late, you know. Did you get worried all the other times too?
Ugh, not really. Emmy seems slightly amused by this. I don't know why, but that kind of pisses me off.
So why is this time an exception?
Maybe it's the light teasing tone of the question, but something in her response pushes me to be honest, though I can't help snapping at her when I say it. Because you've been worrying me since dinner at your house, that's why. Well, now it's out in the open and Emmy's eyes are wide and she looks like she wants to bolt, but she doesn't.
Still on that, I see.
What, you think I'm supposed to just forget about it? You threw me out of your house! We've been going on for almost a week pretending it never happened.
I didn't see you bringing it up either, you know.
I know, and I'm sorry that was the case. We have to address it, or we'll just keep up this whatever it is we've got right now. It's killing me to look on how you look right now. Do you know that? Those circles under your eyes and that distracted look in them. And I can't help worrying that I've caused it somehow.
You haven't, trust me.
Well, I haven't helped either. I keep pushing you to tell me things you aren't ready to tell me. Maybe I was wrong to try getting your mother to help me out, but I've been so worried about you that I didn't know what else to do.
Well, you don't have to worry about me anymore, okay? I think it's pretty clear we're not right for each other, so maybe we should just stop.
Her face is twisted up as she says this, like she doesn't want to say it but forces herself to anyway. You don't actually want that, do you? Heck, you can barely bring yourself to say it. Anyway, it won't keep me from worrying about you. I care too much about you to just stop on command. You don't want to tell me what's wrong? That's fine, but I won't stop trying to help you, even if it's just standing by you.
Stop saying that!
She's shaking now, and she looks at me, and as she looks at me, I can see she's afraid and frustrated and a million different things all at once. I shake my head slowly and take a few steps toward her. You know what your mom told me? She told me that you'd never ask for help, because you know that you're strong enough to get through anything on your own. But that's not the full story, is it? Her eyes go wide and she takes a step back. I keep going, because I think I've finally figured it out. Something tells me I won't get another shot. I've put it off for far too long as it is. There's no harm in having someone help you, unless you're worried about needing help in the first place. You're scared, aren't you? Because of... I trail off because I don't know for certain what happened to Emmy's father, and I don't want to jump to a conclusion. Well, never mind why. But it's okay to be afraid. You've been running from it and from me for so long, even though you know eventually you have to turn around and face your fear. And I'm going to be there to help you when you do. I won't stop, because I don't think you'd want me to. You can understand that sort of determination, can't you? I can see that I've gotten through to her, but she quickly falls back to anger to try to push me away again.
Back on your white charger, Hisao. Gotta help the poor cripple face her emotional problems. What do you know about me and about what I've already had to face? You think 2 months of learning to walk again was fun, but I did it, and after I did that I had to...
For a moment it seemed as if she was going to say something else, but she cuts herself off. And after all that, you don't think you can get past your fear? Emmy, I can't fathom that what you've been through. But to come through it and still be the sort of girl that you are, well, it makes me think that you have even more strength than you think. So I'm not going to help you because I think you need rescuing. I don't want to be a knight rescuing the damsel in distress. But even knights help each other out, you know. I want to help you, even though I know you can do it on your own. What a mature conversation. Wild. For a moment, it looks like Emmy's going to break down completely, but she doesn't. Tears run down her face, but she stares at me steadily.
Why are you trying so hard to help me?
I'd say that it's because I owe you one for helping me out when we first met, but that wouldn't be the truth. The truth is, I just want you to be happy because I love you. Had I ever said that before? Been in a relationship, and it's been pretty obvious that I love her, but did I ever actually speak the words?
What did you say?
I say it again, savoring the feeling of being able to say it at all. Being able to say it and mean it. Emmy seems stunned. I said I love you, Emmy. I love you. Just you, and that makes me want to stand by you, no matter what you have to face. I'm wrapped in a fierce hug then, as Emmy begins to sob against my chest.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about everything, but I'm so scared, Hisao. I'm so scared of losing you, and I love you too, but I can't lose you. I'm so sorry.
I hold her quietly, shushing her until she settles down. She steps back a little more composed.
Will you come with me tomorrow? Back to my house? There are some things I need to show you, if I'm going to do this.
Of course, maybe this time we can leave together instead of separately. Emmy grins, a sudden flash of brightness that seems more genuine than anything I've seen in the past week.
Yeah, maybe.
Lunch bell rings and I curse the universe's poor sense of timing. Are you free tonight? We can talk more then, right? Emmy shakes her head.
Sorry, Hisao, but I'm still helping the track team. Plus, I don't think it would be good if we talked this over tonight. I'm going to be too tired to think properly, and I want to be able to tell you everything without screwing it up. You can wait, right?
Even now there's a bit of fear in her voice. I smile and rest a hand on her shoulder. Okay, I'll be waiting. Emmy gives me a quick kiss before she heads for the stairwell.
Thanks, Hisao. See you tomorrow morning.
Wouldn't miss it. I head down the stairs with the feel of her lips on mine, suddenly aware of how much I've missed that sensation. I'll have to remember to thank Ren for getting us to talk to one another. Although it's possible she won't even realize what she's done. Still, if not for her, I doubt I'd have ever been able to confront Emmy again. I guess I needed more help than I realized. Tomorrow, however, I'll need to stand alone through whatever Emmy's trying to work herself up to doing. I'll be up to the task, I hope. I think the rest of this is just the same. But, maybe I should have went with that choice, because this seems a lot nicer and flows better than what had happened last time. The morning sun is bright through my open window, and the sound of my alarm quickly has me up and about. Although I can't help remembering the nurse's warning that I might not like what she has to say. Do I really need to know that badly? What if it's something awful that makes me repulsed by her? Can I really say that I'm prepared to handle whatever she has to say regardless of what it is? Emmy said she wanted to tell me without screwing it up. What the hell did she mean by that? What's there to screw up? Suppose there's not much use worrying about it, though. I'll find out today. It occurs to me that I really need to run this morning. Clear my head if nothing else.
I said I wanted you to come back to my house, remember? And I promised Mom would be there in time for lunch, so I wanted to hurry.
Early start, huh?
It's more for my mom's benefit than anything else.
Ah, well, that's okay. I unsuccessfully try to guess what Emmy has planned, shortly before realizing that it doesn't matter that much to me. I quickly go through my warm-up routine. Alright, so that's all the same. I did not get the bad ending. I guess I would have gotten the bad ending in my original if I had said something else. Yeah. I like whenever their faces move real fast and it's like go after her. Get out of my house. So I think when I talk to Misha, I say downplay the issue because that makes me a hypocrite, like I said, and I think if I would have done this, I would have got the bad end. I'm not sure I like the idea of airing private matters to the student council. They already know. Nothing major.
Hee-chan, lying is a terrible thing to do.
She's not buying it. Okay, give her something but not too much. We had a disagreement and haven't resolved it yet.
Oh, why not?
Because, look, I don't need to talk about this, okay? Not a big deal, okay? I'm fine.
And Emmy? Is she fine too, Hee-chan?
Misha's voice has taken on a decidedly serious edge. This is ridiculous. I don't know, okay? I haven't asked. Things are complicated right now.
What kind of man are you? Things get a little rough and you're going to hide from them?
Misha's sudden retort catches me completely off guard.
Shi-chan would call that a cowardly act, and she'd be right too. You two were so close, happy together, and you're just going to roll over and die without a fight? You should be willing to fight for your girlfriend, Hisao.
It seems Misha is channeling Shizune at the moment. It wouldn't surprise me to find out that Shizune gave her a script to follow based on my answer. Misha points an imperious arm at the classroom door.
Now you get out of the classroom and patch things up.
We still have afternoon classes. This doesn't seem to dissuade Misha.
Then after class, you better do it, Hichan. It's important that you don't leave things like this.
Why? Misha regards me as one would regard an animal's droppings.
Did you care about her, Hisao? That's important, isn't it?
Huh, she's right. I guess I like her. I do care about her, don't I? Okay, I'll see her after class.
Great! I'll let Chi-chan know you're okay then.
The lilt returns. I guess that means that Misha isn't angry at me anymore. She waves and disappears down the hallway, and I eat my lunch. While afternoon classes draw to a close, I prepare myself for the task ahead. I have to see Emmy. Misha was at least correct about that. Leaving the question of Emmy and me an open issue won't work. At the very least, I need to apologize for what I said. I consider going to her room to find her, but she's probably still at the track. I step out of the main building and down the path to the track. The steps out of the main building and down the path to the track make me feel like a doomed man. I have a twisting, horrible feeling in my gut that this is all going to go horribly wrong, that I'm not going to accomplish anything. Except for maybe driving the final nail in the coffin of whatever it was Emmy and I had. There she is, just as expected, running laps around the track after everyone else has gone to shower and dinner. I don't wave or even make my presence known. Nope. Just sit down on the bleachers and watch her run laps. It takes her a few trips around the track before she notices me, after which she skids to a stop, eyes wide in surprise. Surprise is quickly masked by anger, which is in turn fades behind a mask that I already know is impenetrable.
What are you doing here?
Not quite the response I'd hoped for, but at this point I don't have much of a choice. I want to apologize for what I said the other day.
The other day?
She laughs, a curt exclamation of disbelief.
It's been almost a week, Hisao.
Well, better late than never, right? Amy crosses her arms and stares at me coolly, as if sizing me up. Finally, she nods.
I suppose you're right. Water under the bridge then. I forgive you. Is that all?
Her almost impatient question catches me so off guard that she's halfway down the track before I think to shout after her. No, wait! Emmy stops, turns, and walks back to me, breathing a little heavily and looking annoyed at my interruption.
What?
Okay, I need to make this right somehow. I have to know where I stand, maybe patch things up. Can you at least sit down?
I think we're okay talking here.
Fine, sure. Look, about us. I pause, trying to think of a good way to phrase what I'm about to say. Before I can launch into an impassioned plea for giving me another chance, Emmy's already spoken.
There's no more us, Hisao.
Why not?
We're just not right for each other.
She delivers this outrageous statement without even looking in my eyes. I don't believe you. We're great with one another.
Says the guy apologizing for getting thrown out of my house last week.
She has a point. It was a fight. I said something really incredibly stupid and apologized for it.
And how many times had we already discussed the problem that started the fight? How many times had I told you that there was a set boundary that I wouldn't cross, and how many times did you keep trying to cross it?
Because your boundary was stupid. Oh. Yeah, fuck you, Hisao. Emmy rolls her eyes, folds her arms across her chest, and cocks her head to the side.
Do you see this, Hisao? This is why we're not right for one another.
Her voice softens a little, and she reaches out to stroke my cheek.
You're a good guy, but we're not going to work.
With a horrible lurching feeling, I realize that she's been practicing this, maybe every day since I left her house. Even the cheek stroke seems rehearsed, like something out of a movie. She never intended to give me another chance. Hell, she probably would have been fine with never seeing me again. So that's it then. Nothing else to say but gee, it was fun while it lasted, but so long. This actually seems to amuse Emmy far more than I wanted it to. She gives a rather morbid sounding chuckle.
That's how I've lived my life, Isao. You should know that by now. And it was fun.
Sad smile. She shivers slightly and the smile vanishes.
But it's over now. It's for the best.
I want to yell, to scream at her, make her see reason, that this is stupid. The whole act. That she's just afraid of me. Afraid of what being close to someone means. I want to tell her that I love her and that I can't just give up on her at the drop of a hat. Except, there's no point. She's made up her mind. We're done. Fine. Emmy nods satisfied. I want to hit something.
Good.
She brightens with a false cheeriness.
See you around, Hisao.
No, you won't. You won't even try. True. See ya, bitch. She shrugs as if to say have it your way and turns her back on me once more, quickly accelerating around the curve of the track. I feel numb. This is it. End of the road for us, whatever that was. Closure at least. Emmy rounds the track again without sparing me a second glance. She's running much faster now, and I can't help but think of that first run together. I ran to catch you, to try to prove I wasn't as weak as I knew I was, but it ended badly for me, didn't it? And now you're off running too fast for me again, and I have the choice to run after you again, but I won't. Not this time. You'd never let me catch you. I don't even notice walking away from the track or walking into my room or pulling a book out of my bag to read. Just before bed, I reset my alarm. Emmy and I had our final encounter. We don't speak again after that.
The end.
Guess I could probably skip.
Yep. I think that's everything. Let me check. Well, that was all of Katawa Shoujo. I really liked Katawa Shoujo. It's very good. It's, for the most part, well written. I still stand by my statement that I think that my favorite routes and the routes that I think are best for Hisao are different. So I think that the best characters, like in terms of like the ones that I think are most realistic, are I think Emmy. I think Emmy and Hisao is probably the best one for Hisao. I think how things ended with Rin make a lot of sense for Hisao. After that, I think maybe Lily, and then Hanako, and then Shizune. I really don't think Hisao would have ever ended up with Hanako. I like Hanako, and I'm about to get, like, everyone's gonna hate me, but I really don't understand why everyone likes her so much. Like, she's cute, but that's pretty much it. There's not a whole lot to her, in my opinion. I don't know. My favorite route was Rin's. My second favorite route was Lily. My third was Hanako. No, wait. Yeah, and then Emmy, and then Shizune. I don't know. I might switch Emmy and Lily. Actually, I kind of like Emmy's and Lily's about the same. But I think maybe I like Hanako's second. I can't decide between Emmy's and Lily's. They're probably around third. So I guess it's Rin, Hanako, I don't know. I know I don't like Shizune's the most. But yeah, I was very surprised by all of it. I went into it knowing pretty much nothing except like a couple memes and the Katawa Crash game, which I can't even find anymore. I don't know if you can even still play it. But I came out of it liking it a lot and being very surprised by the writing and the art direction, and actually how much attention and detail went into trying to respectfully treat
handicapped women and their problems, ranging from physical to emotional distresses. So it's all very, very well done. I'm almost a little sad that it's over. I know that there are, I know that there are, the writers went and did a couple side stories, or like, um, fan fictions in quotation marks, because I don't know if it's the actual writer. It seems like there's a little more validity to it, but I don't know. But yeah, that's it for Katawa Shoujo. If you guys want me to do, I guess, I don't know. I don't know what else there really is to this. If you guys want something related to Katawa Shoujo or a similar visual novel, with the same kind of like themes, or like something that's just good and you would want me to read, just let me know in the comments. Um, I might, depending on what the nature of it, I might just do it on stream. Because it's, but if it's something more serious, I might have to take it and just do it on YouTube. Um, but let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.